Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you, Jenny.
Patrick, I asked you on your AMA what state you were born in, and you said find out on today's DTNS.
Well, I think you'll be glad to learn that, dear Tom, I was born ready.
So you were born in a state of readiness. Yeah, interesting.
Well,
all right.
Oh, right, okay.
Got it. Oh, that's good.
I thought you were going to roll the intro with this. Born ready. Well, yes, that too.
Here we go. That would have been better, what you were imagining I was going to do, now that I realize that. All right. But instead, we're going to do it like this.
This is Siri. The Daily Tech News Show by Tom Merritt is brought to you by all of the supporters at Patreon. If you also want to support Tom, go to patreon.com/acedetect. That is patreon.com/ACEDTECT. And thanks as always for listening to the Daily Tech News Show.
This is the Daily Tech News for Tuesday, August 11th, 2015. I'm Tom Merritt. Joining me today, Patrick Beja, DTNS contributor and independent podcaster of such shows as Pixels, The Phileas Club, The Rendezvous Tech, and more. And currently in the midst of a Reddit AMA.
Wow, I'm spent. I don't know if I have enough energy to do the show, Tom. This AMA
That was not good scheduling, Patrick.
No, it's super fun. Lots of people coming to the DTNS subreddit, asking questions. I'm going to keep going. So if you're listening live, you can go to the subreddit and ask more, and I'll be here to answer after the show.
Yeah, big thanks to everybody, Sebgons, Tom Gerke, Kyle, who takes care of the spam, and of course Scotty Rowland
and Scotty,
for setting up the AMA idea. That was a great idea.
Yeah, thanks very much, Scotty.
You guys are the best. Well, let's get into some headlines. Google Incorporated will change to Alphabet Incorporated. We mentioned this when it broke during the show yesterday, but it's already in hot water. Reuters reports that BMW is, quote, examining whether there are any implications over trademarks. Why? BMW's Alphabet service provides services to vehicle fleets and operates in 18 countries, supplying 530,000 vehicles to corporate customers. There are currently, however, 103 trademark registrations in the United States alone that include the word alphabet. So a trademark owner would have to show a likelihood of confusion in order to prove infringement. We're going to get deeper into discussing all the shakeout of Google's restructuring into Alphabet later in the show. But what do you think the chances are, Patrick, of BMW even bringing a suit? They're not even bringing any legal action right now.
I don't think anyone will. Google might be getting into cars, though. I mean, they have their self-driving cars, so there might be some measure of confusion there. But I'm guessing that Google has lawyers, and they have,
I think I've heard that. I've heard that they have lawyers, yeah.
It's the prevailing theory, so I think they're going to be okay. Yeah, worst case scenario, they're going to pay a little bit of money. I think, Larry Page and Sergey Brin really like the name Alphabet. Now they're into it, so I think they're going to keep it. TechCrunch reports Facebook is adding video to the ads its partners in the Facebook Audience Network can run on their site. These new ad formats include, and that's going to delight everyone using Facebook, autoplay video, multi-image carousel ads, dynamic product ads, and more traditional interstitial click-to-play video ads.
Yeah, so this is Facebook selling ads on other people's sites. You can use Facebook as your ad provider, and they've been testing the video ads on their own site, and I guess they worked well enough. They're like, hey, we're gonna add that to the sponsors, so you'll get those crazy autoplay video ads that play smoothly as you scroll, which is impressive technology, mind you. But they'll appear on other sites. Josh Constantine at TechCrunch in this article pointed out, Patrick, that this is a way for Facebook to cut down on the number of ads on Facebook, because what they're doing is collecting all this information about you on Facebook and then targeting you on other sites where they can sell those ads and make lots of money.
I will, wait for the day when I actually start seeing less ads on Facebook for me to be, thinking this is where they're going. It might be, but I don't know about you, but especially on mobile, the second post I see on Facebook is always an ad. I don't see them throwing away money by reducing the amounts of ad they have on their site anytime soon, especially since they have very little competition in that field, in the dominant social market, social network field. Later down the line, maybe, but I'm not holding my breath right now.
Yeah, they'd have to believe that reducing the ads on Facebook would increase user retention and user data collection somehow for that to make sense.
And it's so the ads would need to be so annoying that people are leaving, and for that to happen, they need to have something else to leave for, which is I don't think really an alternative for now. But
I am showing my age with this story, I know, because I am still a fan of hugely powerful laptops, and Lenovo has announced 2 of them. They're workstation-class laptops based on the Skylake mobile Xeon processors, according to Ars Technica. The P70 and the P50, they both feature Xeon E3 1500M V5 processors, NVIDIA Quattro discrete graphics, support for up to 64 gigabytes of DRAM, ECC DDR4 RAM to be specific, 2 terabyte spinning hard disk, 1 terabyte PCIe SSD, and the machine will feature Thunderbolt 3 ports, 1 on the P50 and 2 on the P70. They both have USB 3, HDMI, mini DisplayPort, gigabit Ethernet, an express card slot, an optional smart card reader, and the screen options are 1920 by 1080 or 3840 by 2160, although you can only get a touchscreen with the 1920 by 1080. Also comes with an X-Rite Pantone color sensor below the keyboard to color calibrate the screen. It's 7.6 pounds. And the P70 comes with a DVD-RW drive. How about that for a throwback? Although you can swap that for another hard drive or SSD. And a 17-inch screen. The P50 is a 15.6-inch screen. And that one weighs less, 5.6 pounds. No optical drive either. $1,599 for the P50, $1,999 for the P70.
So I think there's a niche market for these types of computers. It's really transportable at this point. It's not really a laptop. I don't think anyone would put this on their lap for an extended period of time. I'm thinking
only 5
gamers.
pounds. Come on.
Yeah. I'm thinking gamers might be interested in this. Some people who need, strong calculation powers, like, I don't know, people who do rendering.
Sure. Video editing goes in there.
Well, even video editing, unless you're doing 4K, you can pretty much do that on
4K video editing.
Well, there you go. Yeah. So,
lots of virtual machines, which is usually the reason that I justify buying an overpowered laptop, to be honest. Yeah.
I'm really struggling to see who would need the DVD-RW drive, though. Although, forget I said this, we're going to get emails from the same people who sent emails about the fax machines.
But I'm curious, too. Like, I know there are legitimate reasons, but I'm curious what those reasons are these days. And it probably has to do, a lot of times, with customer support, same as the fax machine emails did.
Probably. VentureBeat reports Firefox 40 is available for Windows, Mac, Linux, and Android. Among improvements, Firefox will now warn you before visiting a page known to contain deceptive software downloads. It also has a new Windows 10 friendly design, and the browser will warn users of any uncertified add-ons.
Yeah, that's part of a plan to eventually prohibit uncertified add-ons. So they're starting now by just warning you. Next version, they'll disable them, and then they'll make it so you have to change a setting for uncertified add-ons to be used at all, which is a good thing. I think that's why, as long as they continue to give you the option to override that, this is all good stuff.
Is it really, though? Isn't that the kind of thing that we berated Apple for doing with the App Store and disabling the non-App Store certified or signed apps?
On OS 10, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I never did, because they give you a way to override that, which I do. So
yeah, there were concerns. I guess Apple is not,
and extensions are a little different than App Store apps, I suppose. But yeah, again, to me, it's all about, do I still have ultimate control? Then giving me a little more of a preventative measure up front, I'm willing to be good with.
It makes sense.
The Verge reports LastPass will let folks use its mobile apps for free now. The catch is they will charge you for syncing if you want to use apps on multiple platforms. So you can use one app on your phone for free. You can use an app on your desktop for free. But if you want to share the account, that's when you pay. Previously, you could use LastPass on the desktop for free, but you had to pay for the other versions. LastPass Premium costs you $12 a year, and it is also, and this I've always been a little uncomfortable with, it's also the only way to support multi-factor authentication on LastPass, which I think is a requirement if you're going to use a password manager.
I'd recommend anyone use LastPass or any other, software, password management software. $12 a year, it's really not that much. The thing, though, I think only having use for it on one device, basically, because the whole point of LastPass is that you can generate passwords that are so complicated, so complex that you can't remember them. So you have to sync them. So I'm wondering if making it so you can't sync the passwords doesn't diminish the use case for LastPass, because you're going to have to be choosing easier passwords.
And that's why this is a step better. They're saying, look, we're not going to penalize you because you start using LastPass on one device that happens to be mobile
rather than another. Right.
But we're going to charge you for the service of being able to use it on multiple devices. You only own one device, you're great. Just use it for free. But you can't use it. To me, I'm more bothered by the fact that you can't use multi-factor authentication than on that one device. All
right. Citing latent demand, Canonical has convinced BQ to open sales of the Acorus E4.5 and E5 HD Ubuntu phones worldwide, according to TechCrunch. Spain's BQ previously only sold the phones in Europe. The E4.5 costs €170 minus 10 cents, and the E5 HD costs €199 and 90 cents. Network frequencies are meant for the EU, so you may not get the best coverage in all countries.
Yeah, you're not going to get full LTE here in the US on these phones, I don't think. But that's... I want to be excited and say, oh, cool, they're opening it up worldwide. That's great. But I kind of wonder if it's because they're not selling enough of them.
That latent demand, I mean, maybe we're not in the circles that are latently demanding the Canonical, Ubuntu phones, but I'm really not hearing about it. But maybe, some... some service providers are saying this phone is a great deal for the price we pay and the margin we can make, and we can sell it to our customers, but I don't know.
The Verge notes a new Android phone from Nextbit will arrive September 1st. Now, before you yawn or fast forward, you should know that Nextbit is run by former Google, Apple, Amazon, and HTC employees. So kind of an all-star team of people making this. Chief Technology Officer Mike Chan was an early member of Android, and he promises the Nextbit phones will perform better the longer you use them, which I find intriguing. CEO Tom Moss, also another early Android team member, promised software updates will augment performance and cloud services will expand its storage. Cost of the phones will run between $300 and $400.
This former Google, Apple, Amazon, and HTC employees is very... it's non-specific. It's almost like those movies you see where the main selling point is by the producer of blah blah blah. And,
it could be because you could legitimately go, so the people who weren't good enough to stay at Amazon, Apple, Google, and HTC. Although I don't necessarily think that's the case. Like that's a legitimate point of view, I suppose.
Yeah, no, I don't even think it's the people who weren't good enough. For sure, some people legitimately who are good want to leave the company at some point, but I guess I've read so many times in the gaming industry as well, former Blizzard employees, the people who worked on Diablo back in the early 2000s, and it's their next game, former World of Warcraft employees.
Sure.
And the thing is, there's more to just a couple of people to those products usually, but
I'm intrigued by this idea that they can make a phone perform better the longer that you use it. I'm also very skeptical about that, but they have my attention.
Yeah, maybe it arranges the system in a way that is more efficient, or maybe
it supposedly adapts to your usage somehow.
Yeah, for sure. It could be great. It's just, it's skeptical. Polygon rather, reports some analysis from SuperData claiming Blizzard's Hearthstone pulls in about $20 million a month. That's almost evenly split between the desktop and mobile versions of the game, and the estimates were created based on data from credit card company sales and publishers' internal numbers.
They do say their margin of error is only a couple percentage points here usually, so I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if they're pulling in $20 million a month, but that is surprising that it is not surprising. Does that make sense?
I guess the market for digital card games was nowhere near that amount before Blizzard entered the arena. And disclaimer, I'm a former Blizzard employee, so I might be a little bit biased. The thing I find the most fascinating, though, with this is they have been very public with the fact that the team was about 15 people when the game launched. So let's imagine those people are paid on average $100K a year, and they worked on it for, let's say, 3 years. We get to the amount of $4 to $5 million budget. Let's double it just for good measure. Let's say the game cost $10 million to make. They're bringing in, and I understand that's not all profit, but they're bringing in $20 million a month.
Yeah, each of those team members is bringing in $1.3 million a month.
Well, it's more than 15 people now. I think they grew the team to 35 or 40 people, but it's quite staggering. You know, it's the kind of success story that we hear for the. I'm sure, you know, games like the Supercell games or Candy Crush bring in a lot more, but they also rely heavily on marketing, and they sink hundreds of millions in marketing. I don't think that's the case for Blizzard, but the building of the game and the budget for the building of the game is what really struck me when we first launched it, and the success was disproportionate. I don't think anyone could have guessed it would have been that successful.
Yeah, low risk in the sense of not spending a ton on it, high reward. Wow.
Yeah, sure. And if you haven't tried it, go check it out. It's very cool.
Everyone, get in here. Reuters reports on a Dutch software engineer who is working on an autonomous quadcopter he says will be able to transport passengers without manual control. These are our self-driving flying cars, folks. At least he hopes so. His quadcopter is named Quadro, and he wants it to function like a conventional earthbound taxi. Quadro's 20 engines are powered by lithium-ion batteries, and they have an aluminum alloy structure. Thorsten Krins, the creator, has managed to keep a passenger in the air for 10 seconds so far. But, you know, he doesn't have permission to test this outside of a very small area, so he started negotiations with the Dutch government for a flight permit, and sky's the limit, literally.
Well, it's, you know, he's starting small, but 10 seconds. How long did the Wright brothers stay in the air the first time?
It was 30-some seconds, maybe. It wasn't that much longer. I don't remember
exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, start small. It's very cool that he's one person doing it, and it wouldn't be so surprising that, you know, he gets scooped up by some company in the Silicon Valley, and they say,
sure, 10 years from now we'll be like, guy, have you been to Amsterdam? Have you taken their like self-flying taxis there? They're amazing. The Thorsten copters, they're awesome.
I think Elon Musk should talk with him.
Yeah. And as we mentioned at the top of the show, Ask Me Anything last week with me, this week with Patrick Beja on the Daily Tech News Show subreddit, dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com. Get in there and vote, people. The more you vote, the better the news gets. You actually affect the world. Okay, maybe that's overpromising, but it does help us make our lineup. JackRB sent us the Verge report that researchers at the University of California at San Diego have found a way to hack into the onboard diagnostic dongle, the OBD port, if you hear of that. There's a dongle from a French company called Mobile Devices, which is used by insurance company Metromile. They say, look, you agree to put this in the port, we'll give you a better deal on insurance. They also happen to have a partnership with Uber, and the researchers were able to craft a text message, send it to the cellular connection of that dongle, which then gave them access to the windshield wipers and the brakes, at least at low speeds, on a 2013 Corvette. Researchers alerted Metromile in June of the vulnerability, and an update was already pushed to the devices. I guess the other fix would have been pull that thing out of the port, but it's already patched.
Yeah. Well, this one doesn't seem as alarming as, you know, the other ones from a few weeks ago.
They all shouldn't be that alarming, except for the idea that car companies aren't taking these sorts of things seriously enough. This one, I agree with you. This is less about that. They're like, oh, we found a vulnerability in an accessory and we patched the accessory, and this is the way it's supposed to work right here. This is actually good news. Security researcher found problem. Problems are definitely going to exist. We want them to find them, and we want them to get patched.
spsheridan sent us the news that Rite Aid Pharmacy will accept Apple Pay and Google Wallet starting August 15th. That means they'll turn their NFC readers back on, meaning the forthcoming Android Pay and any other NFC-based system should work as well. Rite Aid is part of a consortium supporting Currency, an alternative mobile payment system that is yet to be rolled out.
Yeah, this is just silly. Currency came along and said, all of our members are shutting off NFC. We're not going to take part in this Apple Pay thing. We have our own system, at least for now. And now, for whatever reason, they're starting to turn them back on. Rite Aid is just the latest of Best Buy has turned theirs back on. CVS has not turned theirs back on. CVS is another pharmaceutical change. But for whatever reason, they decided not to accept those payments for a while anyway, and now they've changed their mind.
Well, they saw the writing on the wall. It's, I guess they realized now that even though their chances of outpacing the other payment solutions are slim, they're less slim if they allow those payment solutions to work concurrently with theirs. So
yeah,
we'll see how it shakes out.
Exactly. They're still going to roll out Currency, and we will let the people decide. That is a look at the headlines. If you're wondering, by the way, if you're wondering about the Oracle sort of fiasco that's out there, we have some people in the chat room mentioning it. There is a security head of Oracle saying that she didn't want people messing with code. We're not going to touch that because she pulled the post, and it really is kind of a tempest in a teapot, and it's also just typical Oracle bluster. But you might want to go read about that if you're interested in the opposite view of what I just said about security researchers doing their job. All right, let's talk about Alphabet. Full disclosure, my wife is an employee of Google, which has not yet changed its name to Alphabet, but it will, and then I'll say she's an employee of Alphabet. Here's all of the inside knowledge.
Wait. She will be an employee of Google, a wholly owned subsidiary of Alphabet.
Well, yeah, she's already an employee of YouTube, a wholly owned subsidiary of Google. So
right.
That kind of, I don't know how that affects much. It's kind of weird to get your head around it. So full disclosure, here's what I was heard from Eileen, my wife. She said, hey, so you heard about Alphabet? I said, yeah, we got a memo. And that was the extent of our interaction and my inside knowledge on Alphabet. This is an interesting tactic. A lot of people have never been exposed to this, but apparently this is not an unusual thing for companies to do when they're restructuring. The one that jumped to my mind was National Amusements. National Amusements is the company that owns Viacom and CBS. And when people find that out, it causes no end of confusion because they think, well, wait a minute, CBS and Viacom are the same company? Yes, but no. CBS and Viacom are part owned by National Amusements, which is a holding company that owns a majority stake in both, but those two companies are not the same. That's not exactly what Alphabet is doing here. What actually many Wall Street analysts are saying is this looks more like Berkshire Hathaway, which is the company owned by Warren Buffett. They have CEOs in charge of all of the companies that Berkshire Hathaway owns, and then they dole out capital that they are acquiring from those companies to the other companies, sort of in not a startup mode, but in a venture funding mode to build up these other businesses. Now, the big difference is, one, Berkshire Hathaway's money cow is insurance, and Alphabet's will be search. The other difference is Alphabet is got one profitable company, Google, and Berkshire Hathaway has many profitable companies. Berkshire Hathaway looks for bargains and then builds those companies into profitable companies. Google seems to be wanting to just do bets on future possibilities that might turn into something profitable someday.
I think there's also the fact that Google started out as Google and then grew tentacles and then outgrew itself into Alphabet, whereas I would guess that Berkshire Hathaway was a conglomerate of different companies that came together, right?
I don't want to get too far into the history of Berkshire Hathaway because I bet there's at least 20% of the audience that knows it better than I do. But it started with railroads, if I'm remembering right. It started with him buying a company and then buying another company. And so, yeah, it grew more with the intention of being a conglomerate at the beginning, I believe, than Google did.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's why, at least, even if it's not completely accurate, it seems like a stranger move for Google to do that. The other thing I think, which really struck me, if we look to other companies in tech and in the Silicon Valley, I think it says a lot about what Sergey Brin and Larry Page want Google to be. That's basically what they were saying in their different memos when they created the company and yesterday when they announced this. It's, a company like, let's say, Apple or Microsoft. Apple has a sort of ethos, a kind of philosophy that Saint Steve Jobs had put together when he was alive and now is raining down on its followers, and they go from what they want to do in technology, what they want to use technology for, and spawn products out of that. Microsoft, I would argue, also has a very clear direction, even though it's scattering a little bit recently.
Well, it's clearer now than it used to be. And a lot of people are saying this is Google trying to avoid becoming Microsoft, to be honest.
Exactly, and I think Google has shown in this move that they are. There's Google, which is basically, we can talk about this a little bit more, but it's basically search. Everything that relates to or that
search makes all the money, right? Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
But it says the creation of Alphabet says, we want to do many different things that have nothing to do with what Google does. And it had been the case for a few years now, and people had been saying, so what does Google even do? What does it mean? They do health. They do, those weird Google X experiments. They want to bring internet to lots of different places. And what does anything that have to do with Google? I think this is clarifying the way they look at the founders look at Google, which is basically their playground. They have the search that's bringing in all the money, and then other things that they think are interesting and that they want to change the world with.
Yeah, a lot of people believe that's the main motivation here, is that Larry and Sergey still want to do things that are crazy and might change the world. And Google was just the first of them and is far in their past as far as being an interesting way to try to change the world, hence all of these things that Patrick was just mentioning. And really what this seems to be, from my best reading, is a way to accommodate investors who are uncomfortable with that. The first thing they did, if you remember, they split their stock out into two different stocks. Those will continue to trade under Goog and Goog-L. One of those is a stock that gives Larry and Sergey a lot more control of the company. And we don't need to go into why. That's a whole, go listen to a financial podcast for an explanation of that. But they got that control, and then their next step was to say, we are now going to take the money-making arm, Google, search, ads, maps, apps, YouTube, Android, put that in a column, report that as its own company with its own CEO. Then we're going to take all this other stuff we like to do, and we're going to make those into their own companies. And interestingly enough, what they've said is they will report all of those together under one number so that the loss is mitigated still by some of the gains of the others. And what I bet will happen is if Calico, which is their health company, or Nest, which is the consumer products company, starts to make money, they'll pull that column out and they'll say, okay, this one's viable now too. And they'll keep all of their experimental ventures in one lump sum so it doesn't get as much investor attention. And so that they can continue to point to Google and say, look how well Google's doing. It's doing great. Look at all the money it's making. It's making so much money because the costs of these other companies won't drag on those earnings reports.
For sure. This is definitely what they seem to be doing. There are so many questions in this. It's mind-boggling, but I guess the thing that strikes me the most is the fact that they're not abandoning the name Google, but when other companies in the field put so much effort and have so much love for the brand that they've built. The fact that they can detach themselves, even to a certain extent, to a small extent, from the Google brand, which is their baby, is mind-boggling. But
well,
even
and I
beyond
think
that,
that's actually makes sense to me. Is the holding company is Alphabet. They're saying the brand should stay with the search engine because that's what the brand means. That same way that National Amusements is the holding company that owns most of CBS and most of Viacom.
Of course, it's just I'm looking at this from a founder's emotional attachment point of view. I couldn't imagine Bill Gates, letting go of the name Microsoft. It's his
right,
it's
or
his
Apple,
baby.
right?
Or yeah, exactly.
Even without Steve Jobs around, anybody in Apple would be like, "What? We can't change the name of the company
Exactly.
from Apple. What are you talking about?"
And here they're like, well, whatever. We'll call it Alphabet. It's cool as well. So they're really focusing on what they want to do. But anyway, so a couple of things come to mind. First of all, do you think that we'll ever get to a point where, the investors are, I don't even know if they would have that power with all of the control that the founders have, but would start demanding, not now because Google is making lots of money, but down the line, guys, it's been 15 years. Maybe that Calico thing, you should let go of it. It's losing money. We're bleeding. We're hemorrhaging money here. Is that in danger of happening at some point?
Well,
I guess
and
not more than it is now. But.
I wonder if this is also a move to make that easier, right? So Google just went through the process of having a wholly owned subsidiary called Motorola, and then spinning off that wholly owned subsidiary by selling it to Lenovo. And that may have sparked an idea, maybe it didn't, to make it easier, like, boy, if we need to get out of Calico or if we need to get out of Nest, it would be a whole lot harder to do that right now than it was to do Motorola, which was hard enough. So let's make it so that when we start to get a pressure on something, if we do need to bail, if we do decide it's not worth the money anymore, we can easily split it off. Just for people's awareness, what we know are the companies that Alphabet will hold are Google, which we mentioned, Calico, which is the health research company that we're talking about, Nest, which is consumer products, Fiber, which is the internet service provider, Google Ventures, which goes around investing in companies, Google Capital, which was an investor fund, Google X, which does Loon and self-driving cars and all of that, and Life Sciences, which is different than Calico. Life Sciences does the contacts that can sense glucose in your eye. I believe this is something of Motorola's research lab that Google kept and made its own unit.
So I have another point that I wanted to make. How incredible is it that Sundar Pichai is now in charge of Google? He's the CEO of Google. He's also an Indian. I'm always struck when I watch keynotes and presentations, especially at Google, but at any tech company, by the amount. It might be a sideway thought. I'm sorry if it is, but by the amount of Indians and really the multiculturalism that there is in those Silicon Valley companies, and the fact that an Indian guy is now in charge of Google. Of course, he doesn't come out of nowhere, but is kind of mind-boggling to me, especially because I think in France, where we have a lot of immigration as well, I can't really imagine this happening for, a lot of reasons, but I don't know. It's shocking to me, and in a good way, of course, that Sundar Pichai is CEO of Google now.
Well, and Sergey Brin is president of Alphabet now, also a success story of immigration as well. So, yeah.
But isn't he? Isn't he American now? I'm guessing.
I believe
he
he's
has
become a citizen now.
Okay.
But I'm the citizenship status currently aside, you're talking about people who were born somewhere else and kind of had to figure out their way in a foreign country.
What I'm trying to say is, if Sundar Pichai can make it, maybe I could be. The next
maybe anybody can make it. No, I think that's great. Yeah, absolutely.
It's not impossible.
Let's get to our pick of the day. Our boss in sunny British Columbia, Jamie, wanted to let us know about an app came out a little while ago, Evernote's Scannable. It's free. You don't necessarily have to be a big Evernote user to take advantage of it. Provides an intuitive way to scan documents and business cards into your phone. The UI finds documents automatically, captures it when there's enough data on screen, and the quality of the image produced is phenomenal. I use this constantly. The pictures can then be sent off as attachments, saved to camera roll, or synced to your Evernote account. The best scanning app that Jamie has ever used. I use one called Cam Scanner, but I might give this a try. It sounds like Jamie's really excited about it.
You know, I think you should. I've been using it for a few months, and if there's one area where you don't think there's going to be innovation, it's cell phone scanning apps, right? It seems like you point your camera, you press the button, and it captures the thing. Scannable was actually purchased, I think, by Evernote, and it just so people understand how it works. You point the camera at the thing, but it takes the picture itself once it sees that it has a proper view of the element, you know, be it a credit card or a piece of paper, and you don't have anything else to do. You could chain them. Capture 3, 4, 5, 10 of them super quickly. It's a fantastic app. I love it.
Send your picks to us, feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com, and you can find my picks at dailytechnewsshow.com/picks. All right, a few messages to get through before we're done. Matt from Oh It's Hot Las Vegas says, the value I get from the show is more than worth a few dollars a month. Well, thank you. On the conversation about Postmates and the delivery fees yesterday, I thought I would mention something quite funny. We learned that Postmates gives you a randomly generated referral code when you sign up. Each time someone uses your code, you get $10 credit towards delivery. Turns out that her referral code is free. Many people use this code, so as of now, we have more than $280 in delivery credit with Postmates. Can a pick be entropy? I don't understand how this happened, but apparently the randomly generated code was also a code that people just typed in randomly and got a lot of credits. That's awesome. Well done, Matt. We got an email from Drew in sunny Boulder, Colorado. I had a thought on your discussion about the proliferation of these Uber of services. I think that what we want is something like Amazon. When you think about it, Amazon is really a broker of trust. I think that Uber is essentially the same. Even in the wake of all the talk about Uber driver employees, potential rate hikes, loyal Uber riders still choose Uber over taxis because the cars are clean, the fare is transparent, the payment's easy, and the time is well established. And if anything goes wrong, there's accountability and reviews. This is just one more place where the internet is slowly removing a market inefficiency to the benefit of the consumer. The phone book is a terrible way to find a plumber, a locksmith, a taxi, a travel agent, food delivery, and we're watching the internet fix that with asymmetrical information. Fix that asymmetrical information problem.
Oh, sorry, you wanted to read the other one too?
No, go ahead.
I was listening to the show you did with Veronica yesterday, and I'm super thankful to Drew for sending this email because it gives us a chance to address it again. I completely agree with him. You were talking about things where the service would come in addition to another service. The thing where Uber succeeds is where the internet succeeds. It's basically disintermediation, right? It removes the need for a giant taxi company that organizes things the way it wants and makes it more free-flowing. And I absolutely think I would want Ubers of everything because there are many areas where that disintermediation and the connection between the customer and the service provider is sorely needed. The plumber is an excellent example. I had very bad experiences with plumbing issues a year or a year and a half ago, and my immediate thought was we need an Uber for plumbing.
Yeah.
Basically, a purveyor of trust is the key factor there.
Harish, fellow patron from India, agrees. He says, I think mobile web has changed the paradigm of search so that people no longer resort to searching just to get information. They search to immediately procure a physical good or service, in which case there is a lot of scope for companies to act like the middleman and connect the resources to the people who need them. At some point, the market will realize that it doesn't need 10 different companies offering the same service, but I think companies like this are bound to come up in any situation where there's an unorganized or underutilized resource.
Agreed.
And And Rich from lovely Cleveland wanted to weigh in on Alphabet. We probably should have moved this up earlier. He says, my first thought, this is Google pushing against the idea that it's the new Microsoft. Hey, that's where I heard that, which seems to be the popular narrative in the tech press. While obviously search is their corporate tentpole, I think they want to move away from Microsoft's Ballmer philosophy of everything the company does having to feed into the tentpole, and perhaps this frees some of their efforts from their original, ostensible mission of organizing the world's information. Makes sense.
I think they just want to have fun. You know, they're basically like Cyndi Lauper in the 80s. Larry and Sergey just want to have fun.
Yeah,
that's the reason.
They want to change the world and have fun doing it. I think that is true of them. Whether they're going to be successful or whether you believe them, a whole different thing. But I think that's really what they're thinking they are doing.
There were a few people who also noted, the only reason they're doing this is to make money. Google is here to make money. And of course, every company is there to make money. The question is, how are they going about making money? And even in the case of Google, I think their other experimental ventures might not be primarily to make money now. But
yeah. It's like Yum Brands. Yum Brands owns Taco Bell, KFC, several other restaurants that I can't remember right now, like the Green Burrito or something. But anyway.
Green Burrito? Yeah. That sounds not very tasty.
No. And then regarding HTC, Marlon, a proud co-executive producer, wrote in and said, the fact that HTC is in the position it is because of poor choices. They have bad marketing. He references the Iron Man, the Robert Downey commercials. They've consistently made poor choices. Remember the first HTC Facebook phone. Tom N. says regarding HTC's market value, he points out this is a totally reasonable situation for a company to be valued less than the cash they have on hand because it could owe as much as the assets are worth. And if the profitability outlook is grim, the company could be worth close to zero. Fair point, Tom, and thank you for bringing that up. I don't think that's the case with HTC. I don't think they have an amount of debt. So it is the profitability that is the problem. And then I wanted to point out that Brian Barrett at Wired kind of has the opposite opinion from Marlon. He says what HTC did wasn't HTC's fault. It was a smartphone market that simply didn't have room for more than a handful of players, one in which being different no longer counted for much. Samsung and Apple just got there first, is Barrett's contention, which I imagine Marlon might say, well, that's because they were better, which would be a fair argument. But for whatever the reason, it is kind of sad to see HTC, which made really good phones, struggling so much.
Yeah, I think all of these things can be true at the same time. There were a couple of really good HTC phones, but yeah, I don't think they ever stood out, I guess, is a reasonable consensus.
And that is it for the standout episode that is this Daily Tech News Show episode with Patrick Beja. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Where can people get more Patrick should they desire it, which I bet they will?
Oh, I hope they will. I'm on Twitter. I'm not Patrick on Twitter, actually, and I'm also not Patrick on Facebook, so that's handy. But the thing I would definitely recommend for people to do this week is go to FrenchSpin.com and listen to Pixels. We had a wonderful episode summarizing what happened at Gamescom last week. Gamescom is one of the biggest gaming convention in the world, and Scott Johnson joined me on Pixels to go over everything that happened there. Fantastic showing for Microsoft with the Xbox One. Wonderful announcements for Blizzard fans. If you want to hear about all of this with a hefty dose of analysis, you can go to FrenchSpin.com and listen to the latest Pixels.
Please do. Folks, there's lots of ways to support the show. We thank all of the folks. There are a little less than 20% of the audience that supports the show and makes it possible for the rest of you. If you can't support us on an ongoing basis, or you need to justify the purchase to, I don't know, someone you're married to or your children or your parents, there is, of course, dailytechnewsshow.com/store, where we sell Daily Tech News Show mugs. These are really good mugs, high capacity. Orange on the inside, so you know where the inside is really easily. No, they're really good mugs. I really like these. And we have some, USB power sticks over there, T-shirts. There's a T-shirt that says "Born Ready," based on Patrick Beja's catchphrase. So check it out, dailytechnewsshow.com/store. Our email address is feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. You can give us a call, 512-59-DAILY. That's 512-593-2459. Listen to the show live Monday through Friday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern on the amazing alphageekradio.com. Visit our website, dailytechnewsshow.com. We'll be back tomorrow with Scott Johnson and special guest Anthony Carboni. Talk to you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Boom. That's a good show.
Isn't that mug red on the inside?
Is it red? It looks orange to me, but maybe now that you said that, it looks red. Maybe it
I don't know. It looks very red to me.
I
But
vote red.
You vote red. Red it is.
'Cause
Red.
look, it matches
The Reds have it.
it's the new skirt.
Better red than not buying a mug.
Nice.
What?
What?
I get it.
You never. Oh, do you remember the better dead than red meme? It wasn't
No.
a meme. This is before memes. This is back in the 70s.
It was
You
a
don't remember
real
this?
life meme.
Yeah, maybe it was just an American thing.
Possibly. Oh, you're over 16,000.
Oh,
Yay.
good for today. Yay!
It fluctuates.
That means
a
nice
lot.
people re-added their credit cards, which we're
Yay.
really grateful about. And I saw one new guy. So awesome.
Yeah,
I
have
can
the
see
same.
my house from here. Yes, thank you, new guy, and thank you, people who re-added.
Yeah.
All right, fun show.
Yes, what should we call it?
Oh, right.
Let me give
what
you
should
some
we call it?
options. Allow me to give you some options. Oh, alphabet suit.
I voted for that
Oh, clever, Dark Redeemer. Very
one.
clever.
Voted for that one.
I don't get it.
Because of the BMW trademark.
Yeah.
Okay, I still don't get it.
You're not liking it. Okay. All right.
No,
All
no,
right,
no.
that's fair.
It's just I don't.
Well, because
I
they're
don't get the
a
reference.
potential lawsuit. So it'd be an alphabet.
Ah, okay, okay, all right. Now I get it.
Alphabeting it all on Google, I like.
Yeah.
YouTube, a wholly owned subsidiary of Google, a wholly owned subsidiary of Alphabet.
Hey, I got another one. Next Lab, a wholly owned subsidiary of YouTube, a wholly owned subsidiary of Google, a wholly owned subsidiary of Alphabet.
I mean, at some point, isn't it just going to be Earth, a wholly owned subsidiary of Alphabet?
Yeah. The moon too.
I like CEOs just want to have fun, but you know
That's
I'm
good.
biased.
Yeah, I like that too.
If you can sing it when you say it, it's good.
Can you?
No.
No.
What are we singing?
CEOs just want to have fun.
Oh.
That's all they really want.
Yeah.
Alphabets as
fun.
easy at abc.xyz.
That's the URL. That's good. I like that. It's clever. I've heard
Google
they
goes
have lawyers.
Full Russian dolls. I like that. Google goes full Russian dolls. Larry and
Oh,
Sergey
right,
just
with the
wanna have fun.
interlocking. Yeah, gotcha.
A little of column A, a little of column B, C, D, E, dot, dot, dot.
That's nice.
I like that a lot.
That's good.
Good job, I see you. Oh, here's a great one. You know why? This is great because it's a Janis Joplin one. Big Google and the holding company.
Nice. And it
I like that.
implies that Google is Big Brother, which,
Yeah.
right.
You know, I mean,
I mean, they pay for my health insurance. I can't be too hard on them.
they don't pay for my health insurance, although they might, you know. All right.
They pay taxes.
I like it. Yeah, I know. Also, I like Yo and a Johnny Copter. I kind of like that.
Oh, for the flying quadcopter thing. Well, should we go alphabet suit? CEOs
Yeah,
just
why
want to
not?
have fun. CEOs just
Or
want to have
I'm
fun.
going. Yeah, I like that.
That's the one we all liked.
Yeah, I wish I could think of a clever one for I'm going down to Alphabet Street, but I don't have it today. Today I just don't have it. I blame BioShock Infinite.
Just see the person on the blog who's like, you and Roger are overthinking it. It's like, well, that's basically saying there should be no blog posts ever about games.
Yeah.
Daily Tech News Show, the dailiest tech show of news. So
News
someone,
shows.
that's all right. Someone on Twitter said, I want a daily tech news show, but about world news. And I said, so do I. He's like, you should start that. And I said, no, I want someone else to do it. I'm busy. Those aren't exact words on any of that, but that was the gist of it. I found out today that a friend of mine is developing not daily, weekly, but exactly that sort of thing.
Ooh, exciting.
And I won't say any more than that because he's not yet ready to push it out there. But if you know friends of the show that might be likely to do something like that, and you know their links, you probably could find it. But yeah, I'm excited.
Wait, is it me? No, it's not.
It's
me.
Patrick. He was hiding in front of you the whole time.
It's
No,
not.
It's not you.
Although the feed is.
It was so secret, Patrick didn't even know he was doing it. Yeah, I mean, the Phileas Club is more of a discussion show than I think we were talking about. So this show would be like headlines and a shorter discussion.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait to promote it. I'm excited to see what they do.
Oh my gosh, people's emoticons are getting so awesome. Not
Emojis?
the ones, not the emojis, but the ones that they make out of
Paper?
Like, no, like little
Animals? Bones?
otherwise available keyboard things like.
Oh,
the guy
yeah, you
that does
you literally mean emoticons. Yeah.
I literally mean emoticons. You know, like this guy.
I can't see you.
I love this guy. So someone just did me another version of that on Twitter that was like a really super happy guy.
Nice.
Just made out of.
Oh, like the shrug guy. Yeah.
Yeah, shrug guy. That's what I was looking for. So someone made me like super happy shrug guy. Which I really like.
Well, this
In my favorite
VBR
thing about-
be
yeah,
exporting.
go ahead.
No, I was filling time. Go ahead.
My favorite thing about all of the internet is that the happiest thing I've seen today came from a guy named Major Dumperoo, who has a Pumoji as his thing.
Of course
but
he
it
does.
is genuinely the nicest thing I've seen today. So, internet.
Sorry if I'm silent. I'm answering.
Are you in your AMA now?
Today's
You're in
questions.
AMA mode. No one can touch you. All right.
Ooh, there's an interesting question here.
Oh,
what is
do you
your
need help?
favorite podcast you have been on, not including your own? What should I answer, Tom?
The instance? Buzz Out Loud? I don't know. You don't have to answer this one.
We'll
Did
see.
you answer mine yet, Patrick? You may not
Oh,
know
did
it's
I?
me. You may not
I'm
know
not-
it's me. I have a different name on.
I don't know what
I
your
didn't
name
realize.
is.
I answered I said thanks, man, to Jenny on my AMA before realizing that was Jenny that had written it.
That's my secret Reddit. That's my secret Reddit.
Yeah. It's not in the same mode of any of your other
No,
handles.
I know, and there's an excellent reason for
Oh,
that.
I'm sure. But it like threw me off. I was like,
So which
oh,
question
crap.
is it? Which
it
is it?
was. Hold on, let me go find it again.
Which is it?
It was the same question I ask you basically every time we have a meeting.
Are you happy with the way the show is going?
Yeah, that's it. That's me. It was. Wait, let me find mine. It was. Are you happy being a contributor on DTNS? Is there anything you would change?
See, you shouldn't have told him it was you because he probably would have given
I
him
know.
a more honest answer.
No, I figured if you had answered before, I was giving it until the end of the show, but.
Oh.
But wait, I don't see it. Where is it?
It's under make. Well.
Well, I don't say it. I'm looking for a contributor.
Let's see.
Contributor. I don't. Wait, is there multiple pages? Did you ask it in the
There
right?
might be now. You might have gotten enough.
Yeah.
No, there isn't.
You could sort by new also. I started
Weird.
doing
I
that
see mine.
partway through.
You came in 1.2 hours ago.
I don't get it. This is black
Weird.
magic.
That's weird.
Seriously, I don't see it.
Huh. Reddit.
Reddit. You're sticky now, by the way.
Oh, I'm honored. I mean, if you're talking about the post, of course.
Oh, yeah, the post. Also.
Because also, it is quite hot in Paris, and I have to say, I'm getting kind of sticky.
By the way.
Ooh, Dark Redeemer has a point. I guess DTNS is considered mine, kind of. You know, it's one of my shows now that I'm a full contributor. So I couldn't count it in the podcasts. Okay. That makes things easier.
That's an easy out. Yeah, I like that. That was very elegant, Dark Redeemer 1.
You know, I think BOL, just for the sheer nostalgia of it, might be the answer.
Aww. That's
Yeah.
nice.
I think, you know, and I'm saying that now that you're next to me.
I like that, especially
given
given your earlier AMA answer where you're like, I think I was in person, but I can't remember.
No, I'm sure, actually. It's
No, you
whether
were.
I
I know. It was-
before that I don't remember.
that was good.
Do. Seriously, Jenny, where is your question? Now I'm worried.
I don't see it either, by the way.
Oh, okay, all right. That's not just me.
Maybe I'm blocked.
Did you press save? Did you press send?
I did.
Did you try turning it off and turning it on
Yeah,
again?
right.
Hold on, wait. Yeah, it's right there. I'm looking at it. It's so weird.
But
Link to it in the DTNS Slack.
Okay.
I don't think you can. Oh, yeah, you can. Okay, yeah, do that. There's a mystery here. Chat room, we're going to get to the bottom of this.
How do I do that?
There's a permalink below your.
permalink.
There's a permalink link below your. Yeah.
CEOs.
Just want to have fun.
Get yourself a healthy bowl of CEOs with milk, making a perfect breakfast.
That would be a fun cereal, you know, like Fruit Loops, but with CEOs faces
Like
on them.
little shaped versions of Satya Nadella and Tim Cook
Yeah.
and Larry Page.
Ooh, look, I got Steve Jobs.
Oh.
Oh,
right,
that
I
one's
slacked
past
it.
its best before date.
Oh no. I slacked it. Wait, did I just slack you the whole thing though?
No, you slacked me your comment, which I cannot see. It doesn't display for me.
That is weird. I wonder if there's some weird privacy thing going on that I have.
There might be.
Maybe that's why-
Yep.
But Tom saw it.
I don't see this one. There does
Tom
not
saw
seem
it.
to be anything here.
Yeah.
Weird.
Same
All
for
right.
me.
Well, that's okay.
It's probably
I'll
all
have to
those
figure that
other
out.
posts you were making in that other subreddit got you blocked.
Yeah. Hey, Scotty Rowland, am I blocked? What's going on?
What's going on?
This
Am
was
I
like
blocked?
the day before I got let go from CBS News, where I tried to use my CBS Amex and it didn't work to buy something for work. And I went back and said, "Hey, it's so funny, my Amex doesn't work. Am I being fired?" And my boss went like white.
Oh no, that's horrible. That
And
is
he was like,
horrible.
no, it's fine. Everything's fine. And the next day I was gone.
Wow.
They PM me the username and I'll check for shadow ban. Oh boy. I love it when when T2T2 gets involved, there's actually a problem. Hold on.
I
Wait,
didn't
does T2T2
disable
mod
the-
also do it? Did I forget that? No.
I don't know. I feel like checking for a shadow ban may be the coolest thing I've heard ever.
What exactly is a shadow ban? It's
We
a
can't
ban
tell
that
you,
you don't
Bastard.
see.
We can't tell you.
Oh, okay.
It's a secret.
Oh my god, I'm
No one
shadow
discusses
banned.
shadow
What
ban.
does this mean?
It's a ban that you don't see that you're banned. Why is Jenny shadow banned?
Don't know.
T2T2, what's happening?
Oh, T2 moderates generic subreddits. Got it.
So, do you guys need me for
No.
No. Take off. Go.
Enjoy the time the
You,
baby is
you can
napping.
hear the sleeping baby in your
100% LE
voice.
time.
I'm going to try to take 10 minutes of that time she's sleeping to go take a pee.
All right. Good luck.
Good luck. Bye, Roger.
Oh, man. Fatherhood.
Oh.
I might have
Where
10
do
minutes
I
to secretly
reach?
pee. I've got to take that
Oh,
chance now.
Yeah, I'm not eager for that to happen.
So how do I get unshadow banned?
Well,
Shadow ban.
Scotty Rowland can
By
approve
that
your
person
post.
don't show until the moderator approves it. Have you been using questionable language, Jenny?
I'm not. I have not. Oh my god.
She's shadow ran.
You say that, but I think suspicion is now, there's a shadow of suspicion.
In my trophy
On your
case, I have the 2-year club and a verified email. So,
Okay, you say that. I guess I have to trust you.
And then
Can-
over on
can
plastic
someone
tentacles,
yeah.
r/.
Can someone in can someone in the chat room write a question that asks Scotty Rowland why I'm banned from the subreddit?
You can message Scotty.
Hold on.
Ian, I'm not quite planning for fatherhood right now. I'm hoping it's going to happen at some point. I mean, I know that you have to, make it happen. But... no, it's not in the plans right now.
Someone put an angry YouTube post saying the sharing economy is not sharing because you're charging people. There's nothing sharing about it. It's a fair point. I'll be honest.
Well, I'm not sure he gets why it's called the sharing economy.
No, I think he does, or she, and I think what they're saying is, if I share something with you, I don't make you pay for it.
No, the thing is, the sharing economy is called the sharing economy because there's one thing that multiple people use. Yes, they pay for the fact that they're
exactly.
using it.
I think I'm siding with this person.
The difference is when you're not.
It's a renting economy, not a sharing economy.
Yeah, okay, fine. You win.
It's one
this
thing if
there.
nobody owns the thing, right? And you're all paying into a pool and sharing it, but that's not what's going on. It's not a co-op.
Isn't there a thing called a rent share or something like that? Like I don't know. There's a type of thing called the something share.
Like a
You're
timeshare?
American, you must know. Yeah, timeshare.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah,
But then I guess no one
that's
owns
not
it,
part
okay.
of the sharing economy.
No,
Even though it
but I'm
should
trying to
be
think.
because you're actually sharing ownership.
But you're still paying for that ownership.
Yeah, the way timeshares, the myth of timeshares, they don't actually legally work this way, is that everybody owns a piece of it and can stay in it for a limited amount of time. So
Right.
I have a timeshare in Hawaii means I can go there and stay there for 2 weeks every year.
Mm-hmm. And that is considered sharing, but you're still paying for it.
Yeah, but you're owning it. You all own a piece of it, right? You paid someone to own it, and then you.
Okay.
So I don't know. I think I'm.
Well, I think words have lives and they evolve and their
Yeah.
meanings.
No, I'm
The
not
sharing
as
economy-
strident. He's like, you need to stop this lie. And I'm like, okay, that's a little much. I get what people mean when they say sharing economy, even if fundamentally I agree that it's not really sharing.
So does the sharing economy have to adhere to the definition of sharing, or is sharing economy a new concept that
Well, no,
means something
here in
different?
English land, we can make words mean whatever we want. It's
Well,
anarchy.
that's exactly my point.
Yeah.
That's exactly my point.
Exactly.
Doesn't sharing economy take on new meaning?
We can
as it's being
assign
used
it
for
as a
something
culture. We can assign it a new meaning. Totally.
different? I mean, I think this is literally how the English language works.
It is, in fact. And sadly, literally is starting to literally mean figuratively.
That was a good one. I'm actually
Yes.
pretty proud of that,
Yeah.
literally.
That was well done. All right. I am going to go, I don't know, have some caramel that I made this weekend.
Ooh, you made caramel?
Yeah. Yeah. It's my
Wow.
second batch. Turned out better. I'm trying to figure out how to make good caramel candies without using corn syrup. And I think it's just I need to reduce the milk, the cream content.
I have no idea how this works, but I'm going to say yes.
But if you come to BlizzCon, well, you're not coming to BlizzCon. If you come
no,
to Spectacular,
It's terrible. You know, I don't want to spend money going to BlizzCon.
No, I
I've
get
been
it.
there like 7 or 8 times, and now they're talking about the new World of Warcraft expansion, and I'm like, but I want to go.
and it's become a tradition for you to come to BlizzCon and visit me since you did it once.
Once, I know. Yeah, but I can't. You know, I don't have. A
I'll
ticket.
make you
Maybe I could
caramel. All right.
Actually, I'm not even sure I need the ticket, but
Yeah.
anyway. All right. Okay.
All right.
Let's end this here.
We are gone. See you, folks.